Welcome to Curatti on Air. Today's special guest is Elliott. Hello and welcome to Curatti on Air. I'm Cheryl Tan. I am so excited to be a part of this brand new video project, and I'd like to introduce you to our special guest today. Welcome, Elliott from Reading, England, also known as the Fairy Blog Mother. Alice, great to have you here today.
Great to see you, Cheryl.
And of course, Andy Capaloff, the COO of Curatti.com. This is really such a fun project, and we're so excited to be a part of this this new thing that we're creating at Curatti.com. I want to start with you, Alice, and talk about your blog. And I love the name, the Fairy Blog Mother. Why did you start this project? And tell us more about your blog.
Well, a long time ago, when I had a different kind of website, someone said to me, you ought to have a blog. And then I started investigating into blogs, and I found that my mother already had a blog, which was not on. So therefore, I decided that since if my mum had a blog, it must be blimmin' easy to create one. So I went and created one, and it was easy. But I also found out that it wasn't easy for other people. It was actually quite difficult for them because they weren't maybe as technically minded as I was, or my mother for that matter. So the result was that I spoke to people about blogging, and they basically glazed over. You could see their eyes going elsewhere. So I thought, you need to have a blog to explain blogging in a way that ordinary, everyday people can understand, using ordinary, everyday language. And that's how the Fairy Blogger was born, was literally to provide a space, a comfortable space for people to come along and feel that they can learn all about blogging in a sort of in a way that anybody can understand without all this technical jargon that puts people off all the time. Because blogging can be technical and it can be easy. And if you explain it easily, then they all get it. And the more people blogging, the better, basically.
Absolutely. Getting people's messages out there is so critical. And I can see when I talk to people sometimes their eyes glaze over because some of the tech stuff is a little bit much. And so I appreciate that you create simplicity around something that could be way too technical and hard to wrap your brain around. So that's great.
A lot of people make it too difficult. They actually purposely make blogging too difficult. And I don't think that's not fair because it is and can be simple as long as it's explained properly. And that's what I do. I explain things simply and easily.
Our goal with this video series is to touch on some of the popular posts on Curatti.com, and yours was one of them, Alice. It was recently published, and it's called 10 Reasons Your Readers Aren't Commenting on Your Blog. And by design, I'm sure, it got quite a few comments. So I want to throw it to Andy to talk about the popularity of this blog post and the kind of reaction the readers, what kind of reaction it received from readers of Curatti.
Well, the first comment was classic, and that is, how can I not respond to this blog post? Or how can I not comment? So that was a perfect one. That one was a gift. You want those comments. But just in general, you can, we finish almost every blog post with some version of now over to you, please comment. What do you think? What can you tell us? What are your experiences? And yes, sometimes people comment, but why don't people comment more? And Alice's piece really captured this. Yeah. So I'm very happy that it wasn't one of those unfortunate pieces out there that talks about what it's trying to do and doesn't achieve it. This achieved its goal.
Alice, will you briefly let us know what was in the article and some of the reasons, some of the most important reasons why people just simply don't comment on blogs, whether it's anymore or ever?
I think they've forgotten how to. And the reason why they've forgotten how to is back in 2014, some really highfalutin, eminent bloggers decided to close their blog comment systems because of spam. Spam was becoming totally uncontrollable, and they couldn't moderate, the huge amounts of stuff that was coming in, they couldn't cope with it. Even got the people to help them, they couldn't cope with it. So their attitude was, oh, well, we're quick having comments and we'll put them onto social media, which of course served a purpose because they could then have more real-time conversations on social media and actually have some discussions. But this process killed the comments. And when they decided a year later, when they realized their ways and reopened their comment boxes, that year had caused people to forget how to comment on a blog. They much prefer to comment on social media, which is actually a more ethereal, sort of fleeting version of commenting, and you can't retain it, you can't collect it, you can't see it for later. And also, the way you comment on social media is different as well. It's not so succinct. It's a bit more fleeting. It's a bit more bitty. It hasn't got any substance to it. Mm-hmm. So people forget how to comment on blogs. It actually requires writing a bit more than you would do on social media. And unfortunately, you have to wait for a reply. And this is waiting business that puts people off. They can't bear to wait. They want something immediately now. They want no response now. And because of all this spam business that we've had recently, the moderation takes over, which of course means a delay because you've got to wait for the moderation people systems to check it over, and then you've got to wait for the blogger to give it the AOK, and then you've got to, and it's published, and then you've got to wait for the person to come back and see the comment. So it took too long. It seemed archaic, too ancient. But I still want people to comment because you get so much more better feedback at the actual source of the post. Whereas if you put it on social media, it's divorced from the post and you don't have the connection anymore. You can't see the conversation. It has no, there's no connection, there's no thread going. These conversations go off at tangents. Mm-hmm. And that's not suitable, I think, for blog commenting, because more comments you get in the blog, the more likely you are to get popularity going up your blog, and therefore more spiders and search engines looking at your blog. So that's why I wanted to try and encourage people to get back into the old ways of commenting on blogs again.
I think it's so interesting because I do remember there were quite a few bloggers who shut down their comments, and I don't know if they tried to reopen them again and then found that those commenters did not come back. But the goal was to create relationships, right? The goal for everything when you write something, whether you post it on your blog or post it on social media, is to create that relationship. And so I think it's interesting that the relationship maybe is strengthened in the comments of a blog, maybe more so than in some Twitter chat, maybe. Would you say that's true?
Well, I'd say that if you comment in a blog, you're contributing towards the community of that blog.
Yeah.
You're making a sort of safe haven of that blog. The community of readers in a blog is far stronger and far more beneficial than the community you have in social media, because people come and go in social media. They don't hang around so much. I mean, Twitter, we all know, disappears with the blinking of an eye because so many other tweets take the place of it. Facebook hangs around a bit longer, etc., until the other ones, but they're not actually there on the blog. You don't have that staying power. You don't have that sense of friendship and camaraderie that you get on the blog. Right. It's all sort of showing your appreciation on social media, but there isn't anything more than just that. Mm-hmm. And if people want to respond to anybody's comments as well as the actual blog, if they're on the blog, then they're there to be seen for forever and ever, which actually scares a lot of people. The thought of their comments being there all the time, 20 years later, heck, did I really write that? But you don't get that on social media. So it's probably they feel a bit more, even though social media is seen by a huge amount more people, they still feel, that they haven't got any control. They have more control on social media than they have on the blog, because once they publish it on the blog, it's there. But that means that people have to be taught how to post on blogs again, how to actually learn how to write decent comments that are worth reading again and again, and comments that are worth commenting on again, rather than sort of like fleeting flyaway comments that you get on social media.
So I want to get to that point in a moment, Alice. But Andy, I want to ask you about comments, because I believe too that when you have commenters who are genuinely giving, and they probably comment on more than one post, so you probably know them, right? As the moderator, have you noticed over the last couple of years fewer comments, just as Alice was talking about, people have sort of forgotten how to?
There are certainly fewer comments, no matter how much you encourage people to comment and to get into a conversation. You can outright say, please tell us your experiences. Please tell us if we've left out some app or tool that, 7 tools to do this or that, as was today's blog post. Well, it won't be today's when this goes live, but is there an 8th one that we've forgotten? What do you like? And so few people actually comment. Yes, there are a few repeat commenters, but I absolutely agree with what Alice was saying, that it's not just people talk about attention deficit, but there's also, people require instant gratification. And I'm sure that is, as Alice said, one of the reasons why people don't do this anymore. But when they comment, they do put more thought into it than they would on social media, and they tend to get a far more thoughtful response. Return. You give back. If someone says, "Great post," then what are you supposed to say?
Right.
It wouldn't get past the moderation anyway.
Pardon?
It wouldn't get past the moderation anyway, because a great post would be considered a spam.
Yeah.
Another thing that stops people from commenting is also the spam moderations themselves. I mean, like Discus, even though it's great, they've still got to log in, haven't you, with a password to any of your social media systems. And sometimes that's a pain in the whatevers, because people can't remember the password.
Right.
They found the password, they've forgotten what they're going to comment about. So you've lost out.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're talking about actual selling. So we're not talking about selling here, but if there are any barriers to the sale, then the potential buyer is going to walk away. So this is kind of that same thing. If you have a barrier to comments, like no comment box, or you have the whole CAPTCHA thing to get away from the whole spamming thing, then you have that other barrier. It's like it stops people in their tracks, maybe when they would have decided to sit down and actually write something. So it's just one of those things. But Alice, I want to go back to your point that we need to relearn. We need to kind of go back to basics and be more deliberate in our blogging comments and connection. That's really at the end of the day what this is. So can you give us some tips, some ideas of how we can kind of go back to basics with blogging comments?
Well, I think people ought to read the posts properly before they comment, for starters. Not many of them do. A lot of people are so used to skimming and scanning nowadays. They glance through something, get the gist, and think they know everything. They've read the post and that's it. That's not the case. So people actually bother to read the post and fully understand it. Have a good think about it. This takes time. People don't have time, I know, but if you really want to, you'll make the time. Have a good think how what you write in your comment is going to be beneficial to the blogger and anybody else who reads it. And then write something worthwhile. And that's probably more than just 3 sentences, with a proper beginning, middle, and end. And this actually requires a bit more sort of commenting knowledge, a bit more blogging knowledge. Proper bloggers will find this easier than most readers who haven't got blogs. So that might be one of the hindrances, is because the kind of people who would comment may not be as easy as finding easy writing than it would do than somebody who maybe just a reader hasn't got a blog. But there isn't any reason why you can't learn how to comment properly. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm actually putting together a challenge. It's called a 90-day challenge to commenting mastery. And during this challenge, you will be taught everything there is to know about blog comments, and how to do them and how not to do them, and all the tips and tricks and trade secrets that there are about getting you tip-top with knowing how to comment again. And I think some people may say, oh, I know how to comment, I didn't even know this, but do you really? Because if you did, you'd be commenting. And so therefore, I'm planning to get this out hopefully before Christmas so that anybody can sign up. And for the next 90 days, great for the new year, actually, starting the 1st of January, for the next 90 days. But it'll be Easter by the time we finished. You'll be the first-rate commenter on blogs. And then you'll see all the wonderful benefits you can get from actually commenting on blogs. The traffic, the interest you get, the traffic you drive, the new friends you make, the new connections you make, the new situations like guest blogging and influential tracks and more readers to your own blog because of the natural links that comments create. There's loads of reasons why commenting is good on a blog that you just don't get if you do it on social media. So that's my next project to get done for people to start in the new year, is this commenting challenge.
Alice, do you have any specific stories of how a blog comment or a series of blog comments has helped you, whether it was a guest blogging opportunity or a stage opportunity or new business or whatever it was? Do you have any specific stories of the benefits for you of being in those comments?
I have met some really interesting people through comments. From either commenting on their blogs or them commenting on my blogs, because if you comment someone's blog and you give them a really good comment, they're going to come and read your blog and then give you one back. And I've had some really interesting, influential people, reciprocal commenting. And I've actually met some of them, which is really beneficial. So I think, there's the possibility of meeting some very important people who could help you with your career, done by commenting. Even, people, one of the co-founders of WordPress and all sorts of people I've met through commenting that I would never have had a chance before. And this is so important. People forget that there are so many good benefits about commenting if you comment well, relevant, and you don't write too much or you don't write too little, and you make sure that you're helping people and you're showing off your expertise and your knowledge in a way that's constructive and appreciative and beneficial to all concerned, not just yourself and the blogger, but other people too. And that way, you can make it succeed and become good for you. So that's another reason why I want to advocate it.
I wonder, I've seen it mentioned a long time ago, and I know it's happened both ways. I have got ideas when commenting on people's blog posts for a blog post.
Yes, it's often quite true.
I've had people comment that this post gave them an idea for their own post.
Right. And if you find yourself writing too much, stop, copy it, and put it into your own blog, because you've got your own blog post there. Right. You certainly shouldn't write too much, or you'll be undermining or overtaking the actual original post. No, you can take that information and then embellish it and make it better, and on your own blog. That's happened many times with me. I find myself writing an answer and thinking, hang on a minute, I could write a post about this, and I do.
And for those
it
would never have happened if you hadn't started to make that comment.
Yes, often the case is that's the case. Yes, I never would have thought to write about that subject unless it'd been actually given to me by either the blog question or one of the other commenters, stimulating that response.
Or it's something that was in your mind for a long time, but you just never thought it was there. But one day you're going to do it. But this gives you the nudge to write your own article now.
It could give you a nudge, or it could give you another insight, another slant.
Yes.
It could stimulate maybe a different way of looking at it. I mean, you may think of it one way, but if a commenter or the blogger thinks of it another way, you're thinking, yeah, I could look at it that way. Mm-hmm. Why can't I write about it? And there you go. You've got another blog post.
For those of you who are watching or listening and who you're trying to figure out how to stand out, because as Andy said, he's noticing fewer commenters those who do comment get a chance to get the spotlight in a sense. And you can stand out just by creating smart comments that add value back to that blog. So this is a great opportunity to do that if you're maybe a new blogger or someone in a crowded field. Alice, I know you haven't created the challenge yet, but how can people find out more about it once it is done?
Right. They really ought to go to my website, theferryblogmother.co.uk. But there isn't anything there to sign up, so I feel very ashamed to say that there's no form yet.
Keep checking back.
Now we've had this conversation, I should now go and create one. So when this video goes live, there will be something there for people to sign up to.
Right.
And then I will know that these people are interested, and then I can put them up straight onto they get precedent, they get special connections for people coming back to me from this particular video. You'll get a special deal. You get something extra, a bonus.
Great.
I like people who respond and give me extra. I'll give them something extra back.
Right.
And so, by the time
takers.
it's live, there will be something goody for you if you come to my website, theferryblogmother.co.uk.
Wonderful. Alice, that sounds great. And for folks who are watching this, please comment at Curatti.com. And
Definitely.
you know that Alice will be reading, Andy will be reading, I'll be reading, Jan will be reading, folks will be reading the blogs, the comments on blogs there at the website.
Definitely. That's something that everybody should be doing. Get your commenting hat on, sharpen your quills, get going, because it's so important to start commenting.
You just completely flummoxed a large percentage of people who are watching this who have no idea what a quill is.
I know what one is.
Oh, good. Something feathery you write with.
That's right. But it gave me a great mental picture of what I need to do to get ready for my next blog comment. Alice, Elliott, thank you so very much for being our guest on Curatti on Air. Andy Capaloff, always great to talk with you. We thank you for joining us for this episode, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. It was really good talking to you, and you, Andy, as well. Bye.
Bye. We hope you found today's Curatti on Air interview informative and entertaining. Look for new articles and video conversations with influencers and emerging leaders at Curatti.com. Thanks for joining us.